Flight training is very expensive. It is ridiculously expensive, no matter how well you look at it. Even if you try to save money and go the cheapest way possible, it's still going to cost you some money, and it's going to be a lot. It's not cheap. Now, that is a fact that we all know. But here's the thing that I've always covered on this channel, and I've always shared in my videos in the past. A lot of times schools will incentivize you to pay a lot of money up front so that you can maybe get a discount. And, they try to preach to you that it will save you, the headache of trying to transfer funds and waiting for the funds to reflect, or they promise that you get an extra couple of hours if you make a lump sum payment ahead of schedule. And in as much as those sound like a good thing, and don't get me wrong, not all flight schools will fall into this category, but because a flight school is a business, and it's a business that is susceptible to so many, business fluctuations in terms of income versus, what they spend or expenses, and how profitable they can remain solvent in business, right? A lot of times, some schools find themselves in the thick of it where they are unable to make their payments on their aircraft, on the building that they operate, and things like that. And they end up going under. But guess what? You as a student might have put your money to this flight school trusting that, well, I've paid up to commercial and I'm set. And they promised me that I'll get 10 extra hours of flight training for free because I've made this lump sum payment, or I've saved X amount of money by paying up front. The reality is that if you don't see what the numbers look like on the books, right? Because the reality is that most of the flight schools are not publicly traded companies, so they do not share any of their finances to the public, which means you as a student do not understand how this company is operated in terms of the school. Is it operated profitably? Are they doing well? Are they going to shut down? And as we know, flight training could take as long as, let's say, maybe a year to complete at least. And if you find yourself in the middle of training and all of a sudden your school shuts down, then there's a problem, especially when they hold your money. Here's the school that I came across that just recently, went under, and the hope is that they come back so that school students can actually get their money back. Because if they don't, guess what? We are going to have a problem, especially if you're in training. What we have here, flight school closure strand students. All right, the story remains the same. It's the typical one that we see all the time. And students are looking for next steps following a West Houston flight school, VTAA or AAA, closed on November 1, halting training programs and leaving many students unsure about the status of money paid in advance. It continues by saying several students told local news station Houston something 11 they had placed thousands of dollars into training accounts with the school and have not been able to reach the school for confirmation about refunds. A lot of us have over $30,000 in our accounts, student Haley Hatnett said. I'm not going to go into details of all of that because at the end of the day, it's something you can read yourself. But the thing that I want you to see is the disruption this brings to the students, training projection. One, you have, over $30,000 with the school. It might take a while to get the money back if you get it back. And if you finally get the money back, if you're lucky, you may not get everything back. Because these are if the company has shut down because they couldn't, meet the obligations for some reason, and at the end of the day, they would have to sell maybe the aircraft they own, if they own it, pay off the banks, pay off the necessary debts that they need to pay off, and whatever is left is then distributed back to students. Now, this whole thing might take years to go through, right? Before it goes to court, before they dissolve the company, before they sell the assets, and before they then distribute the assets to the people that they owe. You might be lucky to get some money back. You may not be lucky to get money back. You may be unlucky and you get nothing back. And of course, what you get is a promissory note, which means that they might pay you in arrears and pay you make partial payments over time. All of this are things that disrupt the students' training. And hence the reason why I always encourage that whoever is starting training, try to avoid putting a lump sum money down. Even if you have the money saved or if you're getting a loan, avoid making huge payments too far in advance. All right. Let's assume that you're trying to start your private training. My advice from me personally is, make a lump sum of maybe 10,000, right? And go through that, right? Once you're about to exhaust it, put on a 10,000, and as you progress through instrument, commercial, CFR, and all that, kind of make a lump sum amount as you progress, rather than paying everything to the school and leaving it to the school, because remember, the school can go under at any time. And one thing that you need to also understand is that flight training is very sensitive to problems like, example, an incident or an accident or an FAA inspection, and all of a sudden they yank their license or they yank their the authority that they have to do certain things. And guess what? Flight training might be affected, and then you then have to start trying to get your money back. So personally, I always encourage that you don't put all this money towards, even if you have the money, right? Even if it's a loan, you don't give all that money up front to the school because of something like this. This happens every now and then. And unfortunately, a lot of people are caught in the web trying to figure out how to start training again, how to then fund that training. And sometimes if it's a loan that you've taken from a place, guess what? Just because the school went under doesn't mean that the loan is forgiven. The loan is under your name. So it is now up to you to fight the school to try to get the loan back, to then pay off the loan provider, because it's in your name. And unfortunately, it's going to be on you. Anyway, just wanted to share this real quickly with you. If you found value in it, don't forget to drop a like on the video and see feature one.